I, 34 male, had been dating my girlfriend Ashley, 31 female, for 5 years. We met back in 2018. I remember the day vividly. I was coming home from work as a traffic controller when I came up behind a car that was sitting at a green light. I of course was tired and irritated from work, so I honked my horn and yelled for the driver to move. The driver waved their hands out her window. I got out of my truck to see what was going on. The driver, Ashley, was in tears saying that her car ran out of gas and didn't know where the nearest gas station was located. Since I lived nearby, I knew the nearest gas station was nearly 2 miles away. I offered to help her, and she happily accepted. I pushed her car off to the side of the road to prevent any accidents. Since she didn't have a fuel canister, I drove her to the nearest gas station and filled the gas canister I had stored in my work truck. After putting gas in her car and helping her get to the gas station to finish fueling up her car, we exchanged phone numbers. After that day, Ashley and I started calling and texting each other. We connected and got along so well, which led us to eventually dating. My parents loved her, and her parents loved me. We loved the same anime music and even the same taste in cars. We rented a small apartment together and lived together ever since. Every Saturday night, we would change into our favorite PJs. We would watch some Bleach, My Hero Academia, Demon Slayer, or One Piece. That was our anime night. I loved her so much that I was planning on proposing to her. Last year, my friend from high school, Tony, moved back to town after he divorced his wife. The first night he came back, we decided to crack open a few beers and reconnect after not seeing each other for 15 years. I told him to stay the night since he was too drunk to drive. A week after that night, Ashley seemed different and not like her usual self. Instead of having anime night, she would rather go out with her friends and have a girls' night or go help her parents or something along those lines. Intimacy became less passionate and seemed more like a chore for her. She even stopped saying "I love you" before I left for work in the morning. Tony even stopped talking to me, even though we were good friends. It seemed strange, but I didn't think too much of it. That is until last week. The job site had to be shut down early for the day due to heavy rain. When I got home, I saw Tony's car parked out front. I thought Tony was waiting for me to get home so we could hang out. I walk inside to find Tony on the couch, while Ashley is naked and riding him. At that moment, it was like my brain had shut off all emotions inside my head. I felt no anger, no sadness, no hatred, no heartbreak. Nothing. I was numb. I stood there for about 10 seconds before they noticed me. Ashley freaked out while Tony grabbed his shirt and ran off. Ashley kept crying and saying that was not what it seemed. That it was a mistake and that she's sorry. I simply packed my stuff and left the apartment. The only thing I said to Ashley was an emotionless goodbye before leaving. I called my dad and told him what happened. I also asked if I could stay with him for a bit, and he let me move into his house. As of now, it has been 5 days since that event, and I still feel nothing. No emotions, just numbness. Am I broken? Update number 1. I finally started to smile and laugh again. I've contacted my landlord and explained the situation. He told me not to worry, and that I would be getting 100% of my deposit and her deposit. Any damages to the apartment will be taken out of her portion of the deposit. I contacted Ashley's parents and told them about the situation. They were shocked and disgusted that their daughter could commit such a disgraceful act. They wanted me to forgive them for what their daughter did. I told them that they don't need forgiveness since they didn't break my heart. I blocked Ashley and Tony on my phone and all of my media accounts. My mom was sad to hear the events of what happened. My father was furious because he liked Tony a lot. I don't think I can repeat what he said due to the graphic nature of his words. I'm slowly getting my life back on track. I'm focusing more on my family and my job. My mother asked me if I would ever join the dating scene again. I didn't want to yell at her for asking such a question, so I simply told her that I'd think about it in a few months. Update 2. I am doing well with myself, although I did have an ugly cry session about 2 weeks ago. I think it was because the realization finally hit me that my ex-girlfriend broke my heart and my ex-best friend stabbed me in my back, but I am over that and have moved on. Last week I ran into Ashley's parents at the store. They again apologized profusely for what their daughter had done. I accepted their apology and again told them that it wasn't them who broke my heart. Her mother told me that they hadn't heard much from Ashley. The last time they saw her, Ashley had moved out of state with Tony. This is good for me, because the farther those two are away from me, the less likely I will ever see or deal with them ever again. My work performance has improved to where I got promoted to crew lead. I'm still living with my father because his social security income checks have been decreasing over time. So I decided to live with him to help pay for some of the bills and necessities. I have been thinking about rejoining the dating scene again. To be honest, I do have my father to keep me company, but I do miss the love and companionship that only a lover could give to fill that empty void in my life. Story number 2. Visual of seeing my girlfriend cheating. She does not know that I know about her cheating. She came to me a few days after she cheated and said that she wanted to split. Her intention to split backfired since we ended up chatting for quite a while, surprisingly with no yelling or screaming. We both ended up agreeing to the bizarre idea that we may actually be able to work things out. It has now been a few weeks since I caught her in the act. I now realize that working things out with her will be impossible since she still has not come clean about the cheating. She is a serial cheater, and once you have actually witnessed your girlfriend getting pile, driven by another guy in your own home, those images never leave your head. I know, bad judgment on my side. I shouldn't have started dating a serial cheater in the first place, and she will likely never ever stop cheating, but it is what it is now. So I've just gotta exit this hurricane of a relationship as cleanly as possible with the least amount of damage. I will be sitting her down around the first week of October and dropping the news that I know you've been boning other guys. I will be doing this only after I finish getting all my affairs in order. For example, removal of her name from the home, locking down my finances and other assets, and the usual stuff. I simply plan to confront her peacefully. To inform her that I know that she cheated and work with her on her departure in an amicable fashion from there. I am not looking for revenge. I just want for us to move on peacefully without either of us getting lawyers involved. We have been living by common law for over a decade. She has made it very clear that she wants absolutely no part of any of my assets, properties, or primary residence, since she accepts that I paid for everything from the start. I know, it sounds incredible that she doesn't want anything from me. She still does not know that I know about her cheating. We are currently amicable, and I am hoping that a quiet sit down with her will negate the need for lawyers and all that shit. If I split up with her without bringing up the cheating, it is very likely that she will try to gain the upper hand by claiming, "How dare you dump me? It was me who was first going to split from you." Therefore, I am bringing up the cheating to try and gain the upper hand before she does. I can't believe this high school cafeteria drama is happening to me in my 50s. We reside in Ontario. I'm in my early 50s, and she's in her late 40s. I have a lawyer on standby, but will only engage him as a last resort if absolutely essential. I am not giving up assets that I worked my ass off for just to confront her and her boy toy in a fit of rage. I'll be confronting her only after all my assets are secured and safe. No chick is ever worth losing your shit over. She is only on the title for half of the primary residence. So, the most she gets, in the worst case scenario, is half the equity on the sale of the residence. However, as of today, her world is now caving in and she is conceding. So it now looks like the most I will be out of pocket is $30,000 after all is done. Update number 1. These are the core tasks that I committed myself to after I caught her cheating 3 weeks ago. Save multiple copies of the proof, photos and videos in different geolocations. Keep my cool at all times so that I don't find myself in prison for the rest of my life. Secure a lawyer and get the legal ball rolling to protect my assets. Record every single conversation I have with her. Stay in shape mentally, physically, and emotionally. Plan my exit from the relationship down to the very last detail. I plan to leave the country for a few weeks and go unwind on a beach after this fiasco finishes. Reveal all my knowledge of her cheating and drop the separation bomb on her only after steps 1 through 6 are complete, and then watch from afar as her life falls apart. I am now in the final stages of step 6, and I utilize any anger that I have as a motivational tool to focus on my end game of exiting the relationship with minimal fallout on my end. She did notice about a week ago that I was suspicious of her recent behavior. However, since I am playing the dumb and oblivious boyfriend role, she is now confident that my suspicions have been put to rest following her flimsy explanation that she and the dude are just friends. The thing about catching a cheater is this, and cannot emphasize this advice strongly enough. You do not need to get revenge, since ultimately a cheater's own behavior will be their own downfall. Essentially, after you drop a few small intentional hints that you are suspicious, most cheaters will, on their own, start to drive themselves definitively mad with the paranoia of getting caught, and then start to fall apart without you having to do a single damn thing. And when you do finally reveal what you know and cut them loose, their final tumble off the cliff will be their own doing. In my case, she is now starting to unravel right before my eyes, and it is a glorious thing to behold. Update number 2. Yesterday, I stumbled across a bombshell in this ongoing Jerry Springer saga of mine. She done got herself pregnant. And just like her recent cheating, she hid it from me. I found a positive pregnancy test stashed in a spot within her belongings, where she previously had nothing stashed just a few days prior. Therefore, I know that the test is current, given the timing of the pregnancy and the timing of her recent romps with the other dude. I am 99% sure that this pending bundle of joy is not mine. Since she and I have been trying for over a decade to conceive with zero success, my original plan of punting her cheating ass to the curb is still in play. It is now getting very close, just a few final remaining details to sort out on the legal front. However, as with everything else in this ever-evolving sordid saga, this recent development does complicate things. In spite of this, I have contemplated a few scenarios. Scenario number 1. Today, she claimed to have gotten her period. I did inspect the blood-stained pad that she left behind in the washroom trash can. However, the stain may also be due to implantation bleeding. Therefore, I cannot be 100% certain that the pregnancy has naturally terminated itself and that her period has in fact truly commenced. Scenario number 2. She's been drinking while knowing she was pregnant. Jesus, What kind of a person does this? Oh, I know, someone who wants to force the pregnancy to fail without getting an abortion. Devastating, just devastating behavior. Scenario number 3. If the pregnancy has in fact not ended, and the baby is found to be mine and comes to term, I will still separate from her. However, I will step up to the plate and be super dad. I will do whatever it takes to make sure that the kid has the best damn life possible within my means as a co-parent. Scenario number 4. If the pregnancy has in fact not ended, and the baby is found to be the other dude's handiwork and is brought to term, I will still separate from her, but I nonetheless silently hope that the child is okay wherever life takes them, as none of this is the kid's fault. In this case, there is also a chance that the courts may have me pay some form of increased support. Update number 3. This is over 2 months in the making. I have no idea how I managed to get this far without completely losing my shit, but it's now in the final inning. And yes, once her last box of junk is moved out, I will finally inform her, oh, so gracefully, that I knew all along that she was cheating, and send her on her merry way with a mug with a screenshot of the evidence, just in time for Christmas. Update number 4. There are some other subs on here that are big on reconciliation. They will try to convince you that reconciliation is a viable path forward, but it is not. And for 2 simple reasons. Reason number 1, the unknown. Cheating is that one transgression whereby you will never truly know when it has stopped. They may tell you that they've stopped, and you may even talk yourself into believing that they've stopped, but you will never truly know. A life of never really knowing is a horrible existence. Reason number 2, the odds. Over 50% of relationships fail at the 10+ year mark. And for the remaining relationships that do manage to last the past 10 years, the majority are miserable unions, and I'm not even factoring in cheating. Throw cheating into the mix, and the odds of actually having a truly healthy relationship are even grimmer. This does not mean that healthy relationships are non-existent. It just means that the odds are so staggeringly infinitesimal after infidelity that when combined with reason, 1, you are taking on an incredibly uncalculated risk. Now, I know what you may be saying to yourself right now. Everything in life comes with risk. Well, it's simple. There is a difference between recklessness and risk and not understanding or acknowledging the difference is what often leads to a life of relentless misery. Now, does all this mean that you should never ever again pursue love or relationships? Hell no. That would be an awfully shitty way to live. However, with the above 2 reasons now considered, you are more likely to have a better swim in the pool when there is fresh water in it, and not after you know that someone has just pissed in it. I hope you enjoyed both of these stories and learned something from these stories. If you are new here, please subscribe to my channel and help me achieve 1,000 subscriber milestone.